Before you download another PDF, stop for just a minute. I want you to think about what happened when you first decided to prepare for the ORE. You probably opened Google and searched something like best books for ORE part 1. So within 5 minutes, you had hundreds of answers. One person said just study Samson Notes. Another told you to buy expensive revision courses. Someone else shared a Google Drive with 50 different textbooks. Then you just joined WhatsApp groups, Telegram channel, Facebook communities, and suddenly you had more study material than you could finish in 2 years. Sound familiar? So here's the truth. The biggest reason candidates struggle is not because the OR is impossible. It is because nobody tells them what actually deserves their time. Today, I am going to change that. I have spent hours reading candidate experiences, reviewing recommended resources, comparing textbooks, and looking at what successful candidates repeatedly mention. So by the end of this video, you will know exactly where to start, which resources are genuinely useful, which ones are optional, and how I had prepared if I had to start from day one again. And I promise you one thing, this is not another video where I simply list 10 books and disappear. I'm going to explain why each resource matters and how to use it effectively. So let's begin. Before that, subscribe our channel because I am doing my best in providing more information about ORE and dental subjects. So let me tell you the biggest mistake almost every new ORE candidate makes. They believe that collecting more books means they will become more prepared, so they download everything 20 textbooks, 5 sets of notes, 1000 of MCQs, 100 of feedback documents, and then something unexpected happens. Instead of becoming confident, they become overwhelmed. Every morning they're asking themselves, should I just read this book or that one? Should I finish anatomy first? Maybe I should start with operative dentistry. Wait, everyone is talking about the pink book now. So eventually they spend more time planning than actually studying. Successful candidates do the opposite. They don't study everything, they study the right resources repeatedly. Remember this throughout your preparation. One book understood properly is worth far more than 10 books you have only skimmed. After reading dozens of discussions and speaking with candidates, I noticed something interesting. People who pass rarely have completely different strategies. Most of them follow almost the same pattern. First, they build a strong foundation using concise note or reliable core resources. Then they reinforce those concepts with questions and candidate feedback. After that, they revise the same material multiple times instead of constantly searching for something new. Notice what's missing. So they are not jumping between 20 different resources every week. Consistency beats your resource collecting. So that's probably the biggest lesson I want you to remember from this video. The goal is not to own the biggest digital library. The goal is to understand dentistry well enough to answer clinical questions confidently. Now coming on your Samsung Notes. Sorry, I can't have that picture here. So now let's answer one of the most common question I receive. Are Samsung Notes enough to pass ORE Part 1? So the answer is Samsung Notes are one of the most commonly recommended revision resources among the ORE candidates because they are concise, focused, and designed around the exam. They are excellent for organizing your revision, but they are exactly a revision resource. Think of them as the map, not the entire journey. If you already understand a topic, Samsung Notes can help you revise it efficiently. If you don't understand the topic in the first place, you may still need to go back to a standard textbook or another reliable reference to build that understanding. So if someone tells you just read Samsung Notes and you will definitely pass, be careful. No single resource guarantees success. Use Samsung Notes as your smart work alongside question practice and deeper study whenever a topic is not clear. So if you spend any time in ORE groups, you have probably heard people mention something called ultimate feedback. So what is it? Think of it as a collection of experiences and recalled themes shared by previous candidates after sitting the exam. It helps you understand the style of questions and the topics and the candidates remember and the areas that repeatedly come in the discussion. That makes it valuable, but only if you use it correctly. Ultimate feedback is not a replacement for learning the subject, it's a guide to help you focus your revision. If you rely on feedback alone without understanding the underlying concept, you will struggle when the exam presents the information in a different way. The best approach is simple: learn the concept first, revise it with your notes, then use candidate feedback to check whether you are covered the important themes or not. That's how feedback becomes a powerful revision tool instead of just another document sitting in your downloads folders. So, just what I have meant to say, that instead of just relying on all these uh, personal experiences, you have to just jump over one thing, and that is your own preparation by the concise book or the recommended books by GDC. Now now let's answer the question that probably brought you to this video. Do you actually need to read all those famous dental textbooks? So my answer is no, and I don't say that because textbooks are not important. I say it because the ORE Part 1 is not a competition to see who has read the most books. It is a test of whether you understand the concept well enough to apply them safely. Or, here's the mistake many candidates make: they hear someone recommended a book, so they download it. Then someone recommends another book, then another. A few weeks later, they have 20 PDFs on their laptop, but they have barely finished the first chapter of any of them. Successful candidates usually do something very different. They choose a small number of trusted resources, stick with them, revise with them multiple times, and only open a textbooks when they need a clearer explanation. Think of textbooks as your teachers, not your daily checklist. So if a concept does not make sense from your notes, go to the textbook, understand it properly, then come back to your notes. So the famous pink book, what is this? Now let's talk about one resource that almost every ORE candidate says about sooner or later, the pink book. Some people will tell you it's essential, other will tell you that they barely open it. So who's right? The truth is both can be. The pink book is useful because it helps many candidates review clinical topics and become familiar with the style of material that often appears in discussion. But here's something important: the pink book was never designed to replace your understanding of dentistry. If you don't understand why a treatment is chosen, why a diagnosis is made, or why a guideline recommends a particular approach, simply reading the pink book won't fill those gaps. Use it as a revision and reinforcement resource, not as your only source of knowledge. Whenever you come across something you don't fully understand, go back to the reliable textbook, learn the concept properly, and then return to your revision notes. That's how you build confidence instead of just memorizing facts. So, if you have spoken to previous candidates, you have probably heard the same advice over and over again. Don't neglect anatomy. But why? Because anatomy is not just another subject, it forms the foundation for so many clinical decisions you will make throughout dentistry. When you're thinking about local anesthesia, surgical extraction, cranial nerves, facial spaces, TMJ, oral path, anatomy is already the part of the answer. That's why weak understanding of anatomy can affect multiple areas of the exam, not just one. My advice is simple: don't try to memorize every tiny anatomical detail. Focus on clinically relevant anatomy. Ask yourself just how would this knowledge help me treat a patient safely. Okay, this mindset will help you remember concepts. So one question is, I wish more people ask is not which book should I buy, it's what should I study first, because the order matters. If I were starting from scratch today, I had first build a solid foundation in the core subjects that repeatedly support clinical decision making. As your understanding grows, you can move into more specialized areas while continuously revising what you have already covered. Whatever order you choose, don't study one subject once and then forget it. Revision should be continuous every week. Go back to the previous topics. That's how a long term memory has been. Consistency beats your intensity. So, studying 2 focused hours every day for months is usually more effective than trying to study 12 hours a day for 1 week. So, here's I also make an order. You can also give it a read, just save it, take a screenshot of it. Now, can you prepare a very important question? Can you prepare for ORE Part 1 and LDS Part 1 together? Finally, let's answer another question I receive all the time. If I'm preparing for the ORE, can I also prepare for LDS Part 1 using the same books? The answer is that there is a significant overlap in the foundational knowledge required for both examinations. Subjects such as anatomy, oral surgery, restorative dentistry, endodontics, radiology, perio, oral medicine, pharma, and medical emergencies are relevant to both pathways. That I accept. Where the two exams differ is mainly in their structure, assessment style, and overall examination pathway, not in the fact that one requires completely different dentistry. So, if you have already started building a strong foundation of ORE, much of that knowledge can also support LDS preparation. The key is to understand the exam you are actually sitting and tailor your revision to its format. Moving forward now, if someone took away all my books and told me start your ORE preparation again from scratch, here exactly how I had approached it. First, I stopped worrying about collecting resources. I would not spend weeks searching Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Google Drive folders for all that PDFs and sorry for that. Okay, so where were we? I just sneezed between the talking, I'm sorry. I choose a small number of trusted resources for each subject, understand them thoroughly, and revise them consistently. Whenever I came across a topic I did not understand, I would not ignore it or try to memorize it. Go back to standard textbook, learn the concept properly, and then return to my review notes. That's how confidence is built, not by reading more, but by understanding better. Remember, passing the over is not about proving you have read the most book. It's about proving you can think like a safe dentist. I repeat it in all my videos that safe dentist term is what they all wanted from you because they want you practice on our patient but in precautionary measures. Now let me tell you why I created this channel. When I started researching the ORE, I noticed something. The information was everywhere. One person explained medical emergencies, someone else discussed booking, another creator uploaded a video on radiology, but nobody has organized everything into one clear learning journey. That's exactly what I want to build here. Over the coming months, we will go through the ORE syllabus topic by topic, your medical emergency, treatment planning, radiology, so instead of wondering what should I study next, you just simply follow the roadmap and follow our channel. Since I want, it's not only for OI students, it's all for the BDA student. But I want your engagement. If you guys are interested, I'm into it, and I will make it simplified for you. My goal is not just to upload videos. My goal is